Hey guys, this is me again, Jen, and welcome aboard to my channel. And yes, I'm back for another video. And for today's vlog, I'm going to share some common airline terms. So if you are interested, then just keep on watching. But before that, please don't forget to subscribe, tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified on my next video, just like this one. So if you are ready, let's begin.
I'm a fool for your love.
So for today, guys, I just feel like I wanted to share some common airline terms because I think this will be helpful for you in the near future. And I actually have my list here so that I will not be lost in the middle of my vlog. So the first airline term that we need to know is, I guess a lot of you are familiar with this one. We have the lavatory. So this is the bathroom inside the aircraft. Next is we have the galley. It's considered the kitchen of the aircraft. This is where we prepare our pre-ordered meals and our crew meals. And this is also where most of the flight attendants spend their time. And kung meron ng tenga yung galley, ang dami na niyang naririnig na chika, guys, at mga chismis. Next is we have taxiing. This is when the aircraft moves slowly along the ground before takeoff and after landing. For the next word, you might have heard some of the cabin crew who announces like this: "Ladies and gentlemen, the forward and aft door is now open. You may now deplane. Thank you for flying with Cebu Pacific and enjoy the rest of your day." Now, for the aft, it is considered as the back section of the aircraft. The next word is we have takeoff. So takeoff means when the aircraft is powered for the purpose of getting off the ground. After the takeoff is we have the airborne. So the airborne is when the aircraft leaves the ground. Before, I really thought that the takeoff is when the aircraft leaves the ground, but it's the airborne na pala. The takeoff is when the aircraft is powered for the purpose of getting off the ground. That's the difference between the two. That's why, I don't know if you have heard or if you noticed that some of the pilots will announce like this: "Our flying time is approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes after airborne." So it only means the flying time is from airborne when the aircraft leaves the ground and not from the pushback. Next is we have the BOB. So the BOB is the buy on board eats. So those items that we are selling in flight. So next is jetway or the aero bridge. So this is the bridge that put against an aircraft door to allow the passengers to embark and disembark. Next word is we have the leg or sector. So this is the trip of an aircraft from one airport to another. So let's say Cebu to Manila, that's one leg. Manila to Cebu, that's 2 legs. Then Cebu to Davao, it's 3 legs. And then Davao to Cebu, that's 4 legs. So that's what we meant when we say we have 4 legs, we have 3 legs, 2 legs, or 5 legs, or 6 legs. Kapag 4 legs, sobrang pagod mo na yan. Next is we have the deadheading. So the deadheading is a crew member flying on a passenger seat and is not part of the working crew. So this is the time when we are seated by the passenger seat, and if you wanted to sleep, then we need to cover ourselves. Next is the overhead bins. This is where you place all of your luggage or hand-carried items. Next is the life vest. We actually have 3 types of life vests. The first one is the infant's life vest, intended to those infants who are 2 years old and below. Now, the second one is the adult life vest. This is for our passengers who are above 2 years old. And the last one is the crew life vest. This is intended for the cabin crew and the pilot. Next is we have the airport standby. Before we termed it as field reserve, but now we termed it as airport standby. This is when we stay inside the office and wait for any unmanned flights. When you say unmanned flights, so the crew complement on that certain flight is lacking. So we need to fill that in. So next is the home standby. So for the airport standby, we need to stay inside the office. But for the home standby, we are just staying at home, waiting for a call from our scheduler if there will be any unmanned flights. Next is we have the flight deck or cockpit. This is the section of the aircraft where pilots sit and control the aircraft. So we already know that the pilots, they are the one who is responsible in flying the aircraft, but inside the cockpit there are 2 people involved there. So we have the captain. He is the one seated at the left seat when you are facing the cockpit, while the one that is seated at the right seat is the first officer. So the PIC or the pilot in command is the captain, the one that is seated at the left seat. Para siya sa barko, like may kapitan and then may first mate. Parang ganon siya. Next is, we have the ferry flight. So for the ferry flight, we are flying without any passengers. There are a lot of reasons why we do that, but the most common one is when we try to return the aircraft from the main hub. Next is we have the run or the remain overnight. It only means that we need to stay on the specific place that we landed, either because that's really your schedule or something happened on the aircraft that we need to stay overnight, or maybe because of the bad weather, that's why we need to stay on the place where we landed. We also have this run clothes. So when you say run clothes, it's your remain overnight clothes. Those are your extra uniforms, just in case there will be unplanned run, so we have something to wear. So we have the jump seat. So this is the seat intended for the crew. Next is we have the passenger seat. This is the seat intended for the passengers. I don't know if you noticed on my Instagram stories, but I always use the term L1, R1, L2, and R2. That is actually for the crew positioning, guys, whether you are a galley attendant or a cabin attendant. And that's it, guys. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and till our next takeoff. Bye!